Okay, coming back at you with a brand new video. By the way, before we get started, does everybody like my little duck right there up in the window? Yeah, so my grandson, my twin grandsons, which are 3 years old, decided to take their rubber ducky out of the bathtub and put it in my window. They said, Papa, you haven't been ducked yet. So anyway, they're ducked. I'm ducked now, so I've got some ducks on the dash of my Jeep. Okay. So coming at you again, I want to talk to you today about the things that the military does well and you need to do well also to be a good survivalist and a good prepper and a good warrior at that. So let's talk about the first thing. The first thing the military does well is transportation. They are very good at transporting things, at getting their troops from one place to another. The second thing they do really well is camping. And I don't really like to call it camping because I used to love to camp until I got in the military. And then I absolutely hated it in there. You can't have a fire, you can't really have noise. I mean, all the disciplines apply to military camping, but they are good at camping. They know how to keep you dry and warm for the most part. They even know how to do individual camping. So, like if one soldier is sleeping out in the wild by himself, they're pretty good at camping. The third thing is kind of back to the first thing is they know how to move from A to B efficiently and quickly. So if you're camping, you break it down, move it, set it back up, and do it efficiently and do it quickly. So they're very good at that. And that takes us to number 4, the breakdown and the setup. They are very good at breaking it down and setting it up. So moving to A to B, then breaking it down and setting it up. Number 5, they're good at pre-staging things. So if they know they're going to be in a certain area, they know how to pre-stage things for that area or to help them get into that area. Number 6, they're very good at communicating with each other and communicating with whoever they need to communicate with to make everything happen. And they can do it on many different levels, through satellites, through radios, through who knows, everything. Number 7, they know how to keep a constant supply line. And that kind of all goes back to the other ones about how to transport, how to move to A to B, how to pre-stage. But that constant supply line so that the soldiers don't have to slow down in their movement and don't have to wait for supplies. Now, yes, they do in some cases. Sometimes the soldiers outrun, like in the Gulf War, we outran our supply. But for the most part, they're very good at keeping that supply line open. They're good at feeding large numbers of people quickly. So they're good at refueling their soldiers, basically. So an army mostly runs on its stomach and its pay and its ammunition. So that's they're good at keeping those things going. They're good at sanitation management. Number 9, they're good at sanitation management. They know how to manage sanitation. In other words, so that the soldiers don't get sick off of their own poop. They're pretty good at that. And number 10, they're good at planning and organizing. Now, we always say no plan survives first contact, but the military always plans to the PACE, which is primary, alternative, contingency, and emergency. So they have more than one plan for almost every mission that they have. Now, excluding the latest absolute screw up of the Biden administration and the woke commanders that we have now that only make decisions off of, woke agenda bullshit and make decisions off of an idiot commander that really doesn't know military operations at all. Like the Afghanistan withdrawal, that was not a very good planning or a very good organizing. It was absolutely fuck up. So excluding that, the military, if they would leave it up to the military alone and some of the mid-level people instead of the woke generals, if they let the colonels do the planning and execution, then you'd probably have a lot better results. Number 11, outfitting, gear, and equipment. The United States military has probably the best gear and equipment on the planet. And they're always outfitting and researching and buying new and improved gear. Like the cold weather system is really phenomenal. We got the Wobie out of that. The rifles that we use now, you know, they had problems back in the 60s, but they got all that worked out. We have some of the best ordnance. We have some of the best airplanes. We have some of the best transportation vehicles. I mean, we're constantly improving that and doing better. And it's amazing the equipment that we do have. We have so much that we can leave $80 billion to our fucking enemy to fight us. So there you go. Number 12, what are they really good at? They're good at training and teaching. The military has a great way of training and teaching others. They teach you so basic, so simple, you know, that even a monkey can basically be taught how to shoot a rifle in the military. And they take that same type of training of how to teach you how to shoot a rifle right on up to how to fly an airplane. And they're very thorough with teaching. Now, if you would just leave the politicians out of it and leave the DEI and the woke bullshit out of it, the military would be flawless in many ways. Number 13, intel and analysis. They are hugely, really, really good at intel and analysis. I mean, and the reason being goes back to the equipment. We have satellites that can zoom in and read a newspaper. We have all types of aircraft that can do side looking and basically see a soccer ball at 100 miles away or 200 miles away or whatever. I mean, like the aircraft I flew, which was the Apache, I mean, we had optics on that thing where we could look and see what people were holding at 5 miles away. You know, just things like that. So they're very good at intel and analysis, and they also have a lot of other agencies that support that. So they have people on the ground that have been there probably for 6 months to a year ahead or 2 or 3 years ahead that are feeding them intel. They know how to work locals. I mean, just a lot of things like that that help with the intel analysis. So that's 13 things that the military is super good at that you need to learn about and try to be good at also to be a good survivalist. Now, number 14 is something they're not good at and something they're very notorious to doing, and that is screwing up something that should be easy. The military is very good at making something that should be easy hard. I mean, it can turn into a snafu pretty quick, and things can go sideways really fast. And if you're not able to think on your feet and to change and to improvise and overcome, then you're certainly going to end up maybe in a grave or, in the best case scenario, you know, hurt real bad. So making things hard that should be easy. Try to fix that in yourself and think to yourself when you're doing something. I know people say, well, don't think negative. Well, in order to be a good planner, you have to think negative a little bit. You need to what if it to death. What happens if our primary transportation fails? What is our secondary transportation? What happens if we end up on our feet walking or rolling in our wheelchair? How far can we go? What obstacles can we overcome? All this kind of stuff. What happens if we run out of ammo? What happens if we get cut off from our supply? You know, if, what if things to death during your planning. If you want to see a good video, go back and find our mission planning video. That helps you plan to the PACE, which is your primary alternative contingency and emergency. I say that over and over. I preach that. You know, no matter what you do, always have 4 plans, and the emergency plan should be everything has failed, everything has went wrong, but I still have a plan. What do we do? So I just want you to think about these things. We just talked about how the military does them so well. And if you want to, just simply go and Google how the military moves from A to B. how the military plans. I mean, when you get to thinking about the global way the military can move one soldier from Fort Rucker, Alabama to Zaco, Iraq. How does that happen? Think about the logistics of that. Think about how they feed 1,000 soldiers in the middle of the desert. What does it take for that? You know, how do you get water to people in the middle of the desert? How do you feed people in the Antarctic? I mean, all these things the military has to get right, because if not, soldiers are going to be dying, starving. And I mean, we almost starved in the middle of Iraq because we outran our supply line. And we were there 2 to 3 days ahead of time, and our supply line was behind. And, you know, we were running out of water, run out of food. We went down to 1 MRE a day. And instead of hating the Chicken a la King MREs, we started, you know, fighting over them, just all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, think about it. Hope you guys are having a good day. I hope you're going to have a good Thanksgiving. And go out and make yourself, your family, and your fellow warrior better.